Jacob Fatu is back at it again, everybody, as he continues to really inspire us with his knowledge, his quick wit, his forward thinking. You know, when I tell my kids about our generation's forward thinkers, our thought leaders, our next poets, I have to, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but for me, what first comes to mind, the first name that comes to mind is Jacob Fatu. He is one of the highest intellect competitors in WWE right now. I mean, without a doubt. He has shown himself to be time and again well-spoken, a very large range in vocabulary, very clear when he speaks. There's nobody better at the English language and really showing his intellect than Jacob Fatu, who has gone at it again, as you'll see here from my ringsidenews.com. Again, take that for what you will, but this podcast that they're referencing is real. Let me go to the top of the story here. The headline is that Jacob Fatu says fans should try taking a punch before criticizing wrestling. Now, this isn't the first time Jacob Fatu has essentially attacked fans for being critical of something that they're not involved with. I'll talk about why that is just insanely idiotic. I'm sure you can come up with a reason or two yourself. But this was Jacob Fatu on the No Contest Wrestling podcast, okay? He reacted to the growing culture of online criticism surrounding wrestlers, matches, creative, etc. And the interview joked that every premium live event should have a ring outside the arena so fans could try running the ropes and taking bumps for themselves. And that's when Fatu took it further. He said, quote, "Oh no, hey, set up a ring. Have them come in the ring, all right? They don't even deserve to take a bump. Just see if they could take a punch to the face from us." He continues, as he was unloading on online critics, saying many of the loudest voices talking about wrestling wouldn't last a second, dealing with what the actual wrestlers go through, and said, quote, "They don't deserve to. They don't even deserve to step in the ring, all right? These cats don't deserve to be nowhere near the ring." Again, just a master of the English language here. And he said, instead of getting dragged into online arguments himself, he explained that he purposely avoids reacting emotionally to negativity online, and something he believes many wrestlers fall into. Now, I'll agree with that. There are a lot of wrestlers that fall into this trap, yet strangely, he's doing it right now, knowing that this is going to be online. So he's dragging himself into something he says he doesn't get dragged into or shouldn't. Got it. So he said, quote, "I didn't go online like the rest of these cats," putting in their feelings. A lot of cat references. A lot of these weird kind of substitution words where he doesn't know what to say. So he's trying to sound, I don't know, modern. I'm not sure, but it gets better. So he said, "I didn't go online like the rest of these cats," again, cats, putting in their feelings, and then offered advice. Said, "Hey man, if I want to give some advice to anybody, stay off the internet. It's fake." Did you know that, guys? The internet's completely fake. What you're listening to right now is a figment of your imagination. It doesn't exist. This medium right now in which you're hearing my voice, I'm not real. This platform's not real. Your phone that you're holding in your hand right now is not real. So, but I guess you didn't know that without hearing it from Jacob Fatu, straight from the source, straight from one of our just modern thought leaders of today. And he said, quote, "Kill everything with a smile, man, and just do the right thing when nobody's looking." I'd agree with that. For real, I would. I mean, that's actually halfway intelligent. And then he said, "I read bad comments about me every day. Don't let it get to your head because, bro, my check still clears every week." Okay, this dude, let me just flat out say he's a fucking moron. Jacob Fatu is a fucking moron. Why? Okay, he says he doesn't get online, right, every day. Well, no, you do, because you just said you do when you also said in your previous statement that you don't go online and you don't stay off the internet. They should stay off the internet. And he said, his previous quote said, I didn't go online like the rest of these cats, put in their feelings. And then in the very next quote says, I read shit every day, bad comments about me every day. Well, where are you reading those bad comments, Jacob? The New York Times? Do you get the paper delivered to your door so you can read these comments in a newspaper? Of course not. Now, let me just talk about one element of this, because I could just peel the onion back in 5 different layers. But the most egregious, beyond the fact that he's contradicting himself and his just vocabulary is incredibly limited. It's about limited to a 5th grade student with his cats and his keeping it 100 and his I seen and all of the rest of the just abuse of the English language that he has shown us. I mean, his character really isn't that interesting. His sob story is not really a sob story. So here's just one thing I'll break down, and that'll be it for the sake of the length of this video. So we have Jacob Fatu, whose main criticism here and main infraction beyond his ability to speak coherent English is that we shouldn't be critical of something that we haven't done. That's essentially at the core of what he's saying. And at the surface, to somebody who has no brain cells to rub together, would be like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can't speak on something you've never done. And then you think about it for just another second and a half. For the rest of us that actually have brain cells that are still firing, there's a few neurons left. That would mean that if you're applying his logic fairly across everything in your life, that you shouldn't have an opinion on basically anything, from your phone to your clothes to any consumer product you buy. That includes your phone, your computer, your TV, anything. You shouldn't have a say on the house you're in. Have you ever built a house? Well, then I guess you have no opinion. And yes, this most hilariously extends to anybody in the public eye who is voluntarily there. No one forced you to be here there, Jacob. And here's where I want Jacob to kind of come in close here so I can speak very, very softly to him. I don't know if your mommy and daddy told you this, but first of all, the internet's a real place. It exists in real life. I'm not sure what dimension you're in, but I'm in this reality of 3D space. But if you choose a job that is purposefully in the public eye, some people may say things that make your tummy hurt. That goes with the territory. And you just have to not let them hurt your tummy. And if they do, well, then you choose a different job. That's really the message I want to convey to him, because if he were to extend it anywhere else, and I guess he's a Los Angeles Raiders fan, was he a competitor in the NFL? Well, then I guess he should shut his mouth about anything about the Raiders. I guess we should all just be quiet about any professional sport. That's the fan's job, right? We should just be quiet and we should say nothing unless the opinion is, of course, pre-approved by those that are, paper thin in terms of their ability to absorb any kind of negativity. I guess we're all supposed to just be quiet unless we have something nice to say. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say to him, and I know many people would say, well, you wouldn't say this to his face. You should, if you guys don't follow me, you should. I'm on the WWE podcast. I have a ad-free version at Patreon, really anywhere that you can find podcasts. I'm there. If Jacob Fatu were to sit down and have a conversation with me, yes, I would say these things. And people say, you would say to his face, it's the internet. You get like, no. Here's what people need to understand. See, if Jacob Fatu and I were sitting down and I said these exact things to him, and he said, hey, he beat you up. Great. You know what I'd get in return? He loses his job. I also make a whole bunch of money off him and go viral. What's the downside again? I mean, but I also don't think that and maybe I'm wrong, given the fact that I've seen a lot of evidence that he doesn't have a whole lot of neurons firing in his brain. But if he were there was any intelligence left, he would realize, yeah, hey, not a good idea for me to beat somebody up that I disagree with, which of course, unfortunately today is kind of how a lot of people operate. When they've got nothing left intellectually to debate and they know they are on the losing side and they can't defend their argument, they resort to the next thing. So, I would. What's there to lose? I have everything to gain and nothing to lose. He's the one that's got everything to lose. So just kind of heading that argument off at the head or off at the bud here, because I know many people are saying, oh, you wouldn't? Yes, I would. Yeah, I would. I wouldn't antagonize or threaten, but yeah, why? Of course, I've got a podcast. Why wouldn't I have this conversation with them? And if it goes south, I still win. I win even more. But this just is the most ridiculous logic, is when you have somebody who says you shouldn't have an opinion about something you've never done. Well, here's the thing. I'm a customer of WWE. You're a customer of WWE. That means I get a really skin in the game here. I've got my money in the game. So yes, I should have an opinion. And if I have one that you don't like, too fucking bad. Right? That goes for every company ever that's in the public eye, or private for that matter. You have a product or service that you are providing to a customer. That customer who's spending their time and money on your product or service has the right to critique your product. That's just the way it goes. See, these are the life lessons you should come to me for, Jacob. Apparently you didn't learn them at a young age. It looks like you were doing other things at a young age, but hey, we all do stupid stuff when we're young. No doubt about that. So I wanted to fire back a little bit on Jacob Fatu, who continues to just not have any kind of self-awareness when it comes to his argument, which is that he doesn't have one at all. And he should just kind of open his eyes and look around at the world. All right. I'll stop there. Anybody wants to follow me over on Apple, Spotify, or Patreon, of course you can do that. Patreon.com/WWE podcast. And guys, I'll talk to you soon.